Welcome to Food Ed, the podcast that explores the vital role food plays in the classroom. Join us as we dive into the latest research, share best practices, and hear from experts in the field. Let's work together to create a school environment where every student can thrive. Let's become food educated together. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Food Ed podcast. My name is Svetlana Elgart, and I'm your host. Today we have with us Carrie Hartman and Ryan Pleasance. So excited. Welcome, ladies, to the Food Ed podcast. It's my pleasure to host you, and I'm so excited about today. Carrie is the Director of Culinary Programs at the Argo-Navis School, and Ryan is the head of school. So again, welcome. So this is my first time interviewing two at a time, so I'm gonna go. I would like for Ryan to say hello to our audience and just give us a little bit of information, some background about you, what you are currently doing, your passion, and of course your favorite food.
Well, thank you, first of all, for having us here. This is such an important conversation in our world, but specifically in education. So I'm Ryan Pleasance, and yes, like you said, the head of school at Argo-Navis School that opened in 2015. I was a teacher for many years, trying to change education and design better systems for our kids through pre-K all the way through high school. Many years ago when we first opened, I met Carrie and really started looking and talking with Carrie about food and how food plays and impacts our kids' learning and in the classroom. It was something that I saw in all the work that I did in my years working in education, both as a teacher and then as a policymaker. So when we founded the school in 2015, it was a really important focus for us if we were going to create equality in all of our classrooms for our kids. My favorite food, I love Italian food. Is probably with warm bread and the best sauce. That's probably where you'll see me on, yes, those days.
Very good. Thank you so much, Carrie. Tell us a little bit about yourself as well. And what I want you to include, I looked at your bio and include in your conversation and intro, what does it mean to do good through food? I found that in your bio, and I'd love to hear that, please.
Sure. So I'm Carrie Hartman, and my current role is the Director of Culinary Programs for the Argo-Navis Schools. My family joined the Argo-Navis schools 7 years ago when my daughter was 3 years old as a preschooler. And I very quickly started volunteering, cooking in the kitchen, and then moving on from there, and found very quickly that my thoughts around food and food education were very much in line with Ryan's and the school's objectives. Do good through food. So I was previously and sort of still an aerospace engineer. While I was an aerospace engineer, I got my culinary degree. At some point, I decided to leave aerospace with the goal to do good through food. So the first thing I did, I was a culinary instructor at a job training program. And then I was a project manager for an indoor hydroponic farming company, and then I ended up full-time here cooking for children. I think that food is a very good vehicle for making change in the world and for doing good.
Wonderful. Well, very good. Tell me a little bit about your food culture at the school, and how do you think is food education important to the kids, and what are you guys doing right now today in your school?
Karen, you want me to start and then you can jump in? So we made the specific choice of being a vegetarian school, which is a conscious, mindful effort for us to lower our carbon footprint in the world as a business. But we don't teach vegetarianism as necessarily the only way to live life. We're teaching it as a balance, which is kind of how we try to work with our kids in food, is how to have balance in what we eat and to be conscious of where our food is coming from and how our food is made, and the meals that we're sharing together.
So there's another chef on our team, Chef Maria, who cooks for our preschool location. And currently, Chef Maria has been our primary culinary instructor. She teaches classes to our elementary students on basic kitchen skills and nutrition, and basically they've been focused on making snacks that they can make at home that include healthy choices. Today, I think they're making oat carrot muffins, and last week they made what was called an apple donut. A slice of apple decorated with peanut butter and other healthy things to make it look
like that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Starting in our preschool program, we have always had cooking be connected to what our kids are learning. So it's a great way for us to teach math to our kids at a preschool age, measuring and science and what happens when you mix, vinegar and oil. What are the spices that we can try from around the world? We know that when our kids are able to make food, they're more likely to want to try new foods. And our program is deeply connected in our global citizenship and global programming that we do. So we travel virtually to a new place every month. And Carrie plans out within our menu for the month 2 or 3 meals for that week that are connected to wherever we're traveling. So both Carrie and Maria have made great connections also within our community, which I love and value as part of this program, and how it's connected us as a business in our community, with different local Indian restaurants and stores that have different spices that we need for certain projects, and stores in Japanese markets and Korean markets, and to really bring in authentic flavors for our kids to try. Carrie also hosts tasting sessions with the kids before each month to get their feedback and buy-in. The kids, whether we're talking about food or this also transcends to other topics, when our kids have a voice in what's happening and a buy-in to what we're doing, then we see greater success with them. I don't know if you wanted to add anything else to that, Carrie.
Yeah, I was going to just jump in. You mentioned the tastings that we do. One of the key things that I like about that, I feel like children potentially just don't have the vocabulary to express how they feel about foods. They easily can say yuck or I don't like it, but I like them to arm them with a wider vocabulary of why don't you like it? Is it too crunchy? Is it too mushy? Is it too sour? Is it too, right? So in the tastings, that's one of the goals, is to expand their vocabulary. I always tell them they don't have to like everything. I try to encourage with some success. I like the phrase, I'm not into it today, but I'll try it again some other time, right? So the goal with the tasting is to get their feedback on the menu, but also to teach them the vocabulary and an openness to try new things. And it's been fun. Children love to give their opinion.
Very good. So
go
ahead.
I was just say we put so much focus on this program that we're in the process now of building out our culinary arts kitchen for our kids to have a state-of-the-art kitchen and teaching kitchen, so that they will not only feel confident with their own skills, but also career-wise, it will open up many paths for our kids. So we're excited about that.
That is fantastic. So you guys are already having the food culture, and it sounds like when you guys do the tasting, so the children say, oh, they like it, they don't like it, and then you do the recipes and they're kind of eating the recipes. So there is a lot of cultural, and there is some food education going on with what you guys are doing already, right? I mean, and they actually get to participate in your menu creation. So that's amazing. So As you guys probably are aware that every sixth child is diabetic and obese by the age of 12 in the United States. What do you guys think, just having the experience that you do, being in education, and of course we're all moms and parents, what do you think as a community, what can we do for kids to really eat better, live better, and be healthy?
It's interesting because the reason we put so much money into serving our kid healthy food every day is not necessarily because families and parents don't care about what their kids are eating. We live in a society that is so fast paced. I have found that a lot of our parents are just
Yes.
trying to hold everything together in a day.
Yes.
And then what often happens is that there is junk food and snacks that are, given to our kids throughout the day. Not because we don't care. I am a parent of 4, but because we're just so busy. And so if we're looking then at the connection between our health with our kids and the foods that they're getting, a big part of that is how we're supporting our parents with enabling them with easy access to healthy foods, and how to support helping them put those foods, onto our kids' tables. Carrie, did you want to add to that? I see.
Oh, I was going to add kind of on a slightly different twist, but one of the things that's great here at Argo Novice is there's a large amount of physical activity in very fun ways, and it's woven throughout the day. So there's not necessarily a one recess period. There's gaps between the classes where children are allowed to move freely and have fun. And then there's programmed physical activity, dance and aerial arts and soccer and, you name it, I think they've tried it. So that along with the healthy eating, I think encourages a future healthy lifestyle.
This episode is brought to you by Rainbow Chefs Academy. Rainbow Chefs Academy provides turnkey nutrition and wellness training for schools, home-based, and after-school programs. For more information, please check the link in the show notes or visit rainbowchefsacademy.com. And now, back to the show.
Is there any issues that makes it prevents us from really educating the kids? Is that, do we have time in the school day to do that, or are we always concentrating? And I'm just, I'm a mom of 3 kids myself, so I'm just kind of seeing what I've saw. Are we educating the kids always on the core classes? Is there not enough emphasis in our schools and outside the schools on that subject? Or I just want to know what you guys are thinking and feeling on that, or in that direction.
Yeah. Well, I would say time is always a factor, right? There's a lot of things we want our children to learn, a lot of great things, and a lot of things they need to learn. But I think Ryan kind of alluded to, I think there's always a way to weave nutrition and cooking into our other classes. I have an engineering background, and there's a lot of science and a lot of math in cooking. And there's a lot of biology. We have a garden, and our younger students are learning about pollinators and germination. So it's the biology curriculum, but it's also growing tasty food at the same time, right? So you have to get creative about it, but I think you can find the time to integrate, the objectives of nutrition in with what we consider core classes.
Yes,
that's my opinion.
I think the training for teachers is important in how to do that work.
Yes, key.
I think and where it doesn't feel overwhelming to them. I think as teachers, we often put a lot on our teachers, like do this thing and then add this and then add this, and it can be like even though our teachers care so deeply. So how do we provide our teachers with the support that they need in their classroom, where this becomes, integrated in a seamless way for them and where they enjoy it? And then I think, at our school, we're a little bit lucky. The reason we founded this school was because we have emphasis on many different areas for our kids. And so, we have the freedom kind of to implement things as we see to be important. I think there's a lot of challenges in many schools to put money into programs that are not on the state standardized, tests that our kids take. So there's education around why culinary arts is important, as equally important as our math classes. You talk about how are our kids going to do well as adults? Well, if they're not healthy, they're not going to be their best versions of themselves.
That's true.
So really looking at where our focus and priority are, that comes from an educational standpoint that's almost outside of the classroom, that's in our communities.
Well, I think you guys did so well. You answered all of my questions even ahead of time. with this was fantastic. So you guys are seeing that cross curriculum is very important. You guys are seeing that educating the teachers is very important on this subject. And it looks like your school is very well on that way. I also think that when I think of schools lately, the way I'm just looking, I think it would be great if they were like partners in health. If the schools and the educational consortiums that deal with K through 12 become partners in health and really concentrate this same effort, as you guys have mentioned, that they concentrate on teaching core into the culinary arts, the health, the wellness, the nutrition, the gardens, what you guys are doing, because the cross curriculum, because as what you just said, if they're not the best version of themselves, then everything else kind of doesn't work. So I want y'all to know that it is wonderful to hear what I just heard today. I think that you guys in an example school, and I think with a mindset like that, you guys are so well on the way to achieving that, which I think is fantastic. It would be, I would love for you guys to become partners in health. I think that I'm trying to make that happen. I would love for this to be something that the schools can join and kind of share resources and all of that. So I know that our community is so in need, and with you guys are just an amazing set of leaders. I mean, your leadership is so strong and your understanding is so deep that I applaud you guys. I think that you guys are doing a fantastic job. And I think I'm just thinking, how can we get more of that out there, and partner together as schools? Because I think, every school district and everybody has their own everything always going on. And sometimes we work in silo. I think becoming a community of partners in health for the educators is super important. I will be sending you backpacks as a thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having us on the show and talking to you. We would love to partner. I think what you just said really hits the nail on the head, where the collaboration between schools, we all become stronger when we can pull our resources together. And I think we all want to do more of that. Sometimes we
don't have the time, right?
Someone like yourself. Yes. So I'm really excited about what you're doing, and it's so important. And as you can see from us, it's deeply rooted in our mission and the work that we're doing. So I hope we talk more and can see what we can do together.
Yes. Thank you guys very much. I appreciated you. It's been absolutely wonderful. I think one of my best podcasts yet. And I will be in touch, and let's stay in touch and see how we can form a community of leaders, of partners in health, because I think that's really going to be the next step for us really helping our kids to lead a healthier lifestyle. Because I know every single one of us it's in our heart, it's in our head, so making it happen should be we should be able to do it. So I will send you the backpack, be in touch with you, have you back on the show. And thank you very much again for your time. It's been a pleasure for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform and on YouTube. Let's work together to create a school environment where every student can thrive while becoming food educated together. We will see you next week on Food Ed.